Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. I hope you are all having a great time out there. Now, let's see what we have for you today. In today's story, a man says, "My soon-to-be ex-wife confessed. Divorce is underway." I found out that my soon-to-be ex-wife had been seeing another man for 7 months. I went through all the sorrow, the denial, the aggravation, the pick-me attempts. I was a wreck for a long while. I never confronted her, but I was a total mess. She must have known I knew, but she just didn't care. Or at least I assumed that. About 2 to 3 months ago, I was just finished with it all. Done with her, done with the marriage. I just didn't care anymore. I completely checked out of the relationship and started preparing for divorce and my new life to come. I avoided my wife as much as possible. I tried to stay out of the house when she was home. I would not engage in conversation when she asked me a question. I would only answer yes or no, or I don't know. I even left the divorce lawyer's bill out in the open. She must have known I was checked out and preparing to divorce. Kids even asked me about it. Even they could see what was going on. I even did the "we both love you" speech. It's not your fault. Sometimes grown-ups can't be together anymore. My wife was actually in the room and must have heard me talk to the kids. She didn't comment or object. I took her silence as consent. Anyways, a few days ago, I met a girl I used to know in school. Before I ever met my wife, we always had this tension between us. Some kind of chemistry. We would always flirt, but we never actually did anything about it. Let's call her Monica. Monica and her family moved away before I actually found the guts to do anything about it. I regretted that for a long time, but I was young, shy, and stupid. I haven't seen her for years. But as soon as we met, the tension between us was palpable, even more than I remember, and communication was effortless. She actually asked me out. I explained the situation to her. I told her I want to be officially separated before I started dating. I wasn't going to cheat. Monica respected that. She gave me her number and told me to give her a call as soon as I was done doing what I had to do. She told me she never married and she was really excited to get to know me again. I was even more excited. I was really happy when I went home and sat down waiting for my wife. I told her I've known about the other man for a long time, and I assumed she knew that I knew, especially since I checked out of our relationship for the last 3 months. She didn't seem to mind that I no longer care. I told her I want to start dating and get on with my life. It's time for us to get divorced. Don't you agree? Her reaction was totally not what I expected. She started crying, not just regular crying, like a desperate soul-breaking noise. I have never heard anything like it. She was blabbering excuses, asking for second chances, that it didn't mean anything, saying we tried counseling, etc. I was a bit shocked. I thought she would be happy. I told her she could go and be with this guy without any guilt. He is obviously more important to her than her family. If he wasn't, why go with him in the first place? She must have known this would destroy us. She can't possibly be this stupid, can she? I told her if she believed we needed to fix our marriage, it would have been 7 months ago, before she had the affair. Now it's too late and broken beyond repair. I didn't think we had any problems in our marriage, and I'm not a mind reader. So whatever it was, I had no way of fixing it. Since she started this affair with the other guy, she obviously thought something was wrong or missing. Something that was so wrong that it couldn't be solved by talking to me. I told her I didn't believe she ever cared about me. No person that cared even a little for someone else put them through this kind of pain. Her telling me that she loves me has no meaning or credibility because her actions conclusively prove otherwise. She became completely incoherent at this point. I had to call her sister because honestly, I wasn't going to take care of her. Her sister showed up, and after I explained everything, she took her away. I felt tremendous relief when they were gone for the first time in 7 months. What could possibly be her motivation to have this major drama? I have lots of evidence of her cheating. We live in a European country, and this would mean no alimony or anything for her. Could that be it? She wants me to feel sympathy, so I don't tell people about what she did? Her AP is married, so maybe she's scared I will tell his wife? I just can't get my head around it. Here is the update. As for the kids, they are my number one priority. I will increase my efforts to help them deal with this. More individual and family counseling. I will arrange trips and spend more quality time together to make more memories. I will also involve the rest of the family on my side to drown them in love and help them through this. I will also talk to their teachers, coaches, etc. I want to make sure their support system is immediate and everywhere. I got an STI test, and I've also booked DNA testing for the kids. Just thinking they might not be mine makes me very uncomfortable, but I have to make sure for their sake. If they're not mine, maybe there is some medical history they need to know about. What if they need to reach out to their real father when they get older? How will they see me if I don't act now to make sure? Hopefully they are mine, and I will be stressed until I get confirmed one way or another. After talking alone to the therapist first, they joined us and we explained everything carefully and let them ask as many questions as they wanted. I repeated over and over, they can come with me to anything. I am their dad, I love them more than anything, and I will always be there for them. As for my marriage, I came to the conclusion that I can never trust my wife again, and I do not love her. My love for her used to be a very big part of me, but she ended that with the affair. It totally changed my perception of her. Maybe I could learn to love her again, but to be honest, I don't want to. Better end it and get on with our lives. The part of me that loved her, the part of me that used to feel endless joy and happiness when thinking about her, and any thought of association with her, causes me serious discomfort at the moment. Divorce is inevitable, and I want to get it done as soon as possible. As for Monica, I talked a lot to her. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to jump into a new relationship. I also didn't want to bring her into my mess, and let's face it, my life is a total mess at the moment. She disagreed. She said life is messy. Might as well see how we deal with that together while dating. I found out why she had never married. She was engaged actually. She lost her fiancé unexpectedly in a work accident 5 years ago. This devastated her, and even though she had gone on a few dates since, she had not been able to form a connection with anyone. I explained how I don't want to start anything until after the divorce is official. I don't want to cheat while I'm technically married. She agrees and respected that. I also talked about how it could be perceived if we all of a sudden are an item out in the open for everyone to see. It would be easy to try to frame her as the homewrecker. She agreed, and we would wait a little bit after it's official until we do anything. We agreed that I would get my life in order and contact her when I was ready and see what we would do then. When it came to planning the meeting with my wife, I decided I needed to stay calm. I would make every effort not to be cruel. I would keep in mind that the purpose of this conversation was to move on with our life. The purpose was to be able to co-parent as best as possible for our kids. I was not going to be deceitful. I was not going to give her false hope that there was a chance to reconcile just to get a post-nup or some benefit in divorce. I have decided to act as fairly as possible. I will divide all assets with her equally. We will have 50-50 custody. Even though she acted terribly towards me, I will act civilly so I can stand by my actions today, tomorrow, and 20 years from now. Up until the point she cheated, I think we had a very good marriage. We would make love every day. We spent a lot of quality time together. We hardly ever argued. We sacrificed for each other willingly and was actually very open with her until I discovered her secret. I believe she was open with me as well, but now our actions shows this was not the case. I went to see her on Saturday. Her sister had warned me that she was not in good shape. She was not wrong. My STBXW looked absolutely bad. Bloodshot eyes, swollen face, unkempt hair. She looked many sizes smaller than I remember. I doubt she has slept or eaten this week. We sat down and my wife was shaking almost uncontrollably. I felt surprisingly calm. I felt for her obvious pain, but not as a loving spouse. I don't know how to explain the feeling really. It confirmed that I probably don't love her anymore. I just sat there and waited for her to collect herself enough to speak. She started several times but would break down crying. When she finally started talking like a burst, she apologized every second word. Surprisingly, she didn't try to excuse herself or shift the blame to me. Her sister cried as well, and would from time to time berate her. It also became clear that her sister had warned her that this would happen. Apparently, it's how her sister lost her fiancé a year back. I didn't know that. Her sister's cheating gave my wife a midlife crisis of sorts. She started to think about cheating a lot. In the end, it seems, she did this because she got a crush on the guy and couldn't help herself. She never believed I would find out or that anyone would get hurt. It was a completely selfish thing. She was apparently very happy in our marriage. She convinced herself that she deserves this fling and that I probably supported her choice if I knew how happy she was at the time. She convinced herself that this affair would pass and we would go back to living happily ever after. She had no idea I had found out. And only when I started to check out did she start to question what was going on. I learned she broke up with AP about 1.5 months ago. She gave me her phone to check and she had blocked him. When I unblocked him, messages dating back 1.5 months started pouring in. Up until I sat her down, she was convinced that we would be able to find a way back together and that we would end up stronger than ever. When she looked into my eyes when I confronted her, she understood that this was probably the end of the line. The reality of it hit her like a ton of bricks. I tried asking her some questions, primarily about what it was in her mind that gave her the right to do this to us, to our children. Basically, it's nothing but selfishness on her part. I got closure in a weird way. I got to explain to her how badly she had hurt me, the incredible pain that she had caused. I got her to accept that it's her fault that our marriage is broken and that our children will grow up in a broken home. This gave me a strange feeling of peace. She had been reading everything she could about fixing a broken marriage after infidelity. She had a complete timeline and detailed confession signed and everything ready for me. I haven't read it. I just gave it to my lawyer. She begged and begged for a second chance. She would do anything, she said. I told her I didn't believe her. In fact, I didn't believe anything she said. I just don't trust her. She asked me what she could do to fix it. I told her she broke it. If she doesn't know, how can she expect me to present her with a solution? I asked her if she was in my shoes, what would she answer to that, if anything? These types of questions went back and forth for a while. In the end, she conceded that had the roles had been reversed, she probably wouldn't forgive this either. I told her that I had gotten an STI test and that I would DNA test the kids too. She completely broke down for about 20 minutes when she heard this. She insisted that this was the only time she had done anything out of line. Again, after some back and forth, she conceded that I had no reason to believe her, and if she was in my shoes, she would probably do the same. I asked if AP's wife knew. She didn't know. She conceded that she deserved to know. I asked her if she should tell her or should I. She asked me if I would consider reconciling or marriage counseling if she told her. I told her no, but I said I would help her regain a tiny bit of respect in my eyes. She promised to tell the AP's wife and everybody else. She'd go to HR as well and confess everything. Again, I told her I didn't really believe her. She swore she would never be with anyone else and that she would never give up on getting back with me, even if it took the rest of her life. I didn't believe her, but I didn't say anything. It was getting redundant at this point. She offered me a one-sided open marriage, access to all her communication, 24/7 availability. I told her that I had talked to Monica and that I was waiting because I didn't want to cheat. I don't want to be in an open relationship. It would hurt her if we did that. And I don't want to hurt other people like she hurt me. I don't want to be her jailer either. Constantly snooping on her and being suspicious isn't grounds for a healthy relationship. I told her she could not undo what she had done. The only way to avoid this result would have been to not start the affair 7 months ago. I didn't want our marriage back. I didn't want her back. I didn't want more pain. I suggested we go no contact for a while to get some distance and perspective. I told her that I already filed and my mind was made up. This was incredibly painful to tell her. She was crying hard while mumbling, "No, no, please no, please no." When I got up to leave, she got a massive nosebleed. She started to reach for me, but she passed out. I managed to catch her before she hit the floor. I drove her and her sister to the ER and stayed until I learned she would be okay. Last night and today, STBXW was telling everyone she knew what she had done. The AP's wife called me this morning to get confirmation that what my wife had told her was true. I sent her copies of some of the evidence. I just learned she kicked her husband out. She wants to meet and look for more evidence. She has been suspecting for a long time but hasn't had anything solid. I suggested we sit down for dinner tomorrow. She needed to talk and asked if we could talk on the phone. I don't know if I can take that on right now. I told her maybe later. Why do I feel so guilty? Why do I feel responsible for trying to fix this? We may be able to fool ourselves for a while, but it will most likely not work long term. Some of her friends and relatives have been calling me up. They think I should give her a second chance. But in my mind, I'm thinking, why drag out the pain? Better to get it over with so we can start to heal and build new lives. So that's it. Nothing spectacular. No revenge. No resolve. No peace. No happy ending. Just more pain for all of us. My mind is in a very dark place right now. I don't know what to do, to be honest. That's the end of the story. Well, OP, it was difficult to understand this. It's tragic to see all the aggravation and pain that has been caused, particularly for the guiltless individuals. However miserable as it seems to be, separating will be the ideal decision. I appreciate you for pursuing the more responsible option and making moves that you can remain by years after the fact. In circumstances like this, it is exceptionally difficult to do, yet it is the correct thing. Surround yourself with dependable loved ones at present. Try not to be embarrassed to request help. Nobody ought to go through this by itself. Concerning her loved ones that are reviling you out, overlook them. They don't have your well-being on a basic level. Healing will come soon. Take care. So with that, we conclude today's video. Now it is your turn to let us know what you think about the story. Please do like and share the story with your friends. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you tomorrow with another great video. Until then, stay safe. Peace.